Right, so here is how I absolutely butchered my nutrition when I first started bodybuilding. And I'm not talking just about a little bit, I'm talking about a straight sprint into absolute misery mode, which now I realize was not only completely unnecessary, but probably something which held me back from achieving my goals a lot faster. These steps will make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. My first mistake, operating under the belief that I needed to be absolutely perfect from day one. That every meal had to be brown rice, chicken, and broccoli with no flavor, no seasoning, and that in order to be successful in this endeavor, you had to eat boring food. Unless you are a high-level bodybuilder, aiming to get their pro card, and even then, only towards the latter stages of the process, every meal that you eat can and should still be something that you enjoy and look forward to eating. Number two, thinking that you needed to be a high-level chef and that every meal needed to be prepped and packed with you in Tupperwares, taken with you everywhere that you go, to social events, to university, to school, whatever the case may be. Not realizing that as long as you get a fundamental understanding of macronutrients and calorie intake, there is always the opportunity, even if you're traveling, even if you're on vacation, even if you're at college, at school, at a social event, you can always find an option that you can fit in so long as you have put in the work of knowing how to track and planning for these events ahead of time. Mistake number three, and this came further down the road, is making food too tasty. So yes, we definitely don't want to be operating with bland, boring food all of the time. But when you start getting to the high levels of body composition outcomes, when you start getting to the high level of the sport in a competitive nature, what you soon realize is that if you've learned to make your food too tasty, and if you are making that the primary focus of how you're preparing your food, even if you're hitting your macros and hitting your calories, you're probably not going to be very satiated. You're going to be hungry all the time because a lot of those foods tend to be lower volume and higher calorie. And B, the more palatable food you eat, especially if that's going to be several or every single meal every single day, your cravings are going to go through the roof. Unfortunately, at some point, the more blandly you eat, the more plain and repetitive your meals are, the less likely you are to have cravings that are going to be compromising your adherence in the long run. And the final one is forgetting that the details matter. Again, depending on your ambitions here, you have to understand that context is going to be key. If you have never set foot in a gym before, if you've never actively dieted before, and you have a lot of weight to lose, simply just focusing on your calorie intake and being a little bit more active is going to give you the outcomes that you want immediately. But the leaner you get, the more advanced you want to become, the leaner you want to get, it's not going to just be a game of calories in versus calories out. Paying attention to specific macronutrient ratios, paying attention to good quality food choices that are going to nourish the body, give you energy, keep you full, keep you satiated, and lastly, but maybe not least, also focusing on the finer details like nutrient timing. How are you structuring your carbohydrate intake? Over how many meals are you distributing your protein? Are you just hitting your number of your grams of fat per day? Or you're paying attention to the quality of the fats that you're getting into your diet? These things matter. And the more advanced you get, the leaner you get, the more they are going to matter in terms of not only fat loss, but maintaining training performance, maintaining a reasonable standard of living and just not feeling like shit all the time, and keeping you satiated, keeping you full so that compliance and sustainability is never an issue. So don't fuck up like me, guys. Learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm here. I've made all the mistakes. I'm here to tell you about them. Learn from them and don't make the same ones. If these videos are helpful, subscribe to the channel, like the video, get it out to more people so I can just help more people just like you, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about.